There is a hidden logic behind every neural network that no one is teaching you, and mastering it is the only thing standing between you and total irrelevance. While the world scrambles to learn the latest prompts or memorize the newest coding libraries, a select group of architects is operating on a plane you aren't even aware of. They aren't just using AI, they are speaking its native tongue. And if you don't find this language soon, you won't just be replaced by a machine, you'll be replaced by the person who knows how to control it. Every day, the internet is flooded with AI gurus selling you the same recycled advice. Use this prompt, download this plugin, automate your emails. They are teaching you how to be a better cog in a machine that is already being upgraded. The reality is, 99% of people are digging for gold in a mine that's already been picked clean. They are chasing the tools, while the masters are building the systems. This is the setup, the moment where you realize that the barrier to entry isn't how many tools you know, but how deeply you understand the first principles of machine intelligence. Because we are entering the era of the great displacement, where the distance between the elite and the obsolete is widening at a terminal velocity. To understand the forbidden shortcut, we have to go back to the moment the logic was first glimpsed. Long before the multi-billion-dollar IPOs, there were the connectionists, a group of outcasts who believed that if we could mimic the human brain's architecture, we could create a spark of true reasoning. They didn't focus on if-then statements. They focused on weight and bias. They realized that intelligence wasn't about following rules, but about recognizing patterns in the noise. But here's the part nobody talks about. Those pioneers found a shortcut. They realized that you don't need to understand the math of 1,000 dimensions to master AI. You only need to understand the intent gap. But here's where it gets worse. As these systems became more complex, they became black boxes. Even the people who built them started to lose track of how they were making decisions. This is the story of the lost knowledge. When the shortcut was first discovered, it was treated as a secret, a way for a single developer to do the work of an entire department. They weren't writing code, they were gardening. They were pruning the paths the AI took, nudging it towards perfection with a logic that felt almost forbidden. Because it bypassed the traditional path of education, it made the old ways of learning entirely obsolete overnight. Now, this changes everything. The stakes are no longer just about getting a better job. The stakes are about the survival of your cognitive value. If you are doing something that can be described in a manual, you are already dead in the eyes of the market. The escalation is here. We are seeing a world where companies are firing hundreds of prompt engineers because the AI has already learned to prompt itself. The shortcut people thought they found, the easy prompts, was a trap. It was a temporary fix that masked the deeper reality. The AI doesn't need your prompts. It needs your architectural intent. This is the part nobody talks about. The escalation isn't just technical, it's economic. We are moving toward a winner-take-all intelligence economy. If you have the shortcut, you are a god. If you don't, you are a commodity. Think about the skill ceiling. In the past, you could work hard and get better at a craft over decades. Now, the machine raises the floor every 6 months. If your skill is below the machine's floor, your value is zero. But here's the problem. Most people are trying to climb the stairs while the floor is rising faster than they can run. But here is the twist you didn't see coming. The forbidden shortcut to mastering AI isn't about learning more technology. It's actually about unlearning how you think. You've been taught to think linearly, step A to step B to step C. But AI thinks in probability spaces. It doesn't see a straight line. It sees a billion possibilities and collapses them into one. The shortcut is vector thinking. This is the ability to see a problem not as a task to be completed, but as a coordinate in a high-dimensional space. Wait until you see how this affects your reality. When you master vector thinking, you stop using AI and start merging with its logic. You begin to see that the code isn't the point. The data isn't even the point. The shortcut is the realization that AI is just a mirror of human intuition, stripped of its biological limitations. The industry's biggest lie is that you need a PhD in mathematics to understand this. In reality, the most successful AI masters today are artists, philosophers, and storytellers who understand the shape of information better than any computer scientist. This is the part that scares the institutions. They spent centuries building a gate, and the AI just walked through the wall. Let's dive into the insight, the economics of the new intelligence. Why is this forbidden? Because it decentralizes power. If anyone can master the shortcut, the traditional hierarchy of the corporation collapses. One person with a laptop and the forbidden logic can outcompete a Fortune 500 company. We are seeing the rise of the sovereign individual on a scale never before imagined. But there is a catch. This mastery requires a level of cognitive endurance that most people simply haven't developed. You have to be able to hold complex, multi-dimensional structures in your mind without letting them slip. This is the cognitive architecture I mentioned earlier. It's the ability to build a mental framework that mirrors the way the neural network actually operates. When you achieve this, the AI stops being a tool and becomes an extension of your own nervous system. But here's the part where it gets dangerous. As we move closer to general intelligence, the shortcut becomes more than just a career move. It becomes a survival strategy. The divide between those who understand the logic and those who are subject to it will be the most significant class divide in human history. So, where does this leave you? The shortcut is right in front of you, hidden in plain sight. It's not in the tutorials, it's not in the boot camps, and it's certainly not in the top 10 AI tools videos. It's in the quiet, rigorous process of deconstructing your own thoughts until you find the patterns that govern them. Only then can you reflect those patterns into the silicon. The next time you see a headline about AI taking over the world, don't look at the machine. Look at the people behind it. Look at the logic they are using to steer the future. Because the war for intelligence isn't being fought in a data center, it's being fought in the space between your ears. Remember, the machine isn't the shortcut. You are.